key: sex, religion, and also politics. Okay, noted. And the washroom is just outside. Emergency exit is also if you have an emergency case going on. And before we start our meeting, we will have a 1 minute of mindfulness session, which is a moment to silence. So right now, can I please ask all of you to just be seated in a very comfortable posture? Yeah. This is a moment to be silent with yourself. So we try to refrain from also looking at your phone or other things. Just focus on yourself, and you can gently close your eyes. Put down whatever you are doing right now. Gently close your eyes. Let's take 2 deep breaths at the start. Inhale and exhale. Let's do another time. Inhale and exhale. You will have 1 minute of silence by yourself. You can observe your breathing and enjoy the moment of silence. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. You can come back to the room. Next session, I shall pass on to the president of IJM Toastmasters Club, Vidya, to conduct a welcoming address. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Sophia. It's been a while that we're doing practice of a mindfulness session. I hope all of you are present here. So, a very good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon. I can see many colorful, lovely people here with their traditional costume. Thank you for being so colorful. And also we have a wonderful guest. We have our area director, Kishan Doshi here. And we also have a special session today, so we have 3 panelists. Dennis, and we have Rizman.
Michael.
No, Michael is not a guest. I mean,
He's the panelist.
He's the panelist, one of the panelists as well. And we have Sharon here, who's our regular Toastmaster guest. And we have Hubert, who's also one of our regular Toastmaster guests. And we have 2 guests brought up by Mr. Ramesh. Can we have you all to introduce yourself?
Hello, good evening, guys. My name is Education Rizal. Call me Adi from TMC department.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Steven. I'm from the TMC program.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm
Yvonne.
Hi,
Yvonne.
Hi everyone, I'm Yan. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
My name is Natasha.
Hi. And we also have 2 guests over there.
Yay.
Can we have them to introduce themselves?
My name is Merdeka. Hi everyone, I'm Yogi and I'm also from the department.
A warm welcome to all the guests. It's going to be very amazing with all of you here. So as all of us know that you can see from the surrounding that our meeting theme today is about Merdeka.
Yeah.
Although our Merdeka is already over few weeks ago, but then we still celebrate it every day. Mark the calendar on 31st August 1957, we received our independence from the British Army. That's the day that we received our freedom from those who been keeping us into a small circle. There was so much of blood, sweat, and tears that gone through by our ancestors just to get the freedom of living their daily life. Now, even daily life, they were so struggling to even give a speech, to speak out about what they want. It was so tough for them. And this day has been celebrated by all over the nation to appreciate all the contributions that have been made by our ancestors. But one thing that we forgot is we always appreciate things that has been done previously. But what we need to remember is this freedom was given to us to bring the betterment for the nation. So every daily life that you are doing, think about one thing that you could do with the freedom that has been given to you in 1957 that will bring a collaborative growth to the people around you and yourself. With that, I would like to start the meeting officially, and I also would like to invite the top 10 model in IJM, and also very charming and who has contributed for this traditional costume idea today. So Miss Chloe, here you go.
Good afternoon, President, fellow Toastmaster, and dear guests. Thank President for your compliment as top 10. It's my privilege and pleasure to serve Toastmaster of the Day for today committee. It also can be known as the MC for today, which I will fill the gap for each section. After a month of tiring working days, there was a public holiday fall on every month day on each September. So do you guys go any shopping? There were Merdeka sales everywhere. Do online purchase.
Yeah.
There were discount of 62% or buy 6 free 2 or even 6.2 ringgit cashback. Buy 6 free 2 in the Daiso, 62% the Booker stock shoe second pair, you have the 62%.
Chloe is very rich.
Very informative. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know why they have the 62% discount or buy 6 free 2 or buy 6 and 2? Why? Why? Because Malaysia has been independent for 62 years. Hari Merdeka, also known as Hari Kebangsaan, which is the official Independence Day of Malaysia on 31st August 1957. This was followed by 7 chants of Merdeka by the crowd of more than 20,000 people witnessed the independence. So I hope you guys enjoy a great relief, but not the chance of paying the debt after Merdeka sales. As a Toastmaster of the day, it is my duty to review the history of Toastmaster International. So, Supa, let me give you a piece. Do you know who is the founder for Toastmaster International?
Dr. Ralph C. Smedley.
Wow, well done. Yeah, Dr. Ralph C. Smedley began working at the newly organized YMCA in 1932, and his time was spent building a home for the organization. However, his passion to help others learn to speak and lead remained. He introduced the idea of Toastmaster to his colleagues and organized the Toastmaster Club eventually. became #1 of the Toastmaster International. So join Toastmaster is not about learning public speaking skill. It helps you to build your communication and leadership skill. Initially become a communicators, but eventually becomes a leaders. Our IJM Toastmaster Club founded on 21st June 2004. It has a 15 years of history. Last year, our club has achieved President Distinguished Club. We envision achieving 10 DCP points this term, and now we have achieved 3 DCP points, as you can see the schedule on the right. So now I will introduce the role player. Let's start with the timer.
The purpose of that paper is to help ensure that the meeting run according to the schedule and also to keep track of each segment during the meeting. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tan. Counter Saviana. Hi.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm with the art counter. My name is Sajana, and I get to starter. Okay, now my duty is to note words and sound used as a crush or false failure by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so, you know. Sound may be and repeated word or phrases such as I, or this mean, this mean. Those sound and phrases can be annoying to the listeners and at the same time decreasing the value of the speech. Therefore, in the art counter, note those words and phrases in order to help the speaker aware of them and minimize the use of those words and the phrases in future. Thank you.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My role for today's meeting is as a grammarian. Purpose of grammarian is to introduce new words to members, to comment on the use of English during the meeting. The word of the day for our meeting is independence. The meaning is freedom from being governed or ruled by another country, and the ability to live your life without being held or influenced by other people. Example, Malaysia gained its independence from the Great Britain in 1957. Example 2 is important that parents should allow their children some independence. Everyone is encouraged to use the word of the day in their speech. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a general evaluator. He's on the way. The general evaluator role will be evaluate the whole entire meeting, and he's not doing it alone. He will assist by his technical player, timekeeper, art counter, and grammarian. So our agenda will have 3 main parts. The first is table topics section, which you can know as impromptu speech, to practice their thinking and speaking on their feet. The second part will be the prepared speech. We have 2 members today to deliver their speech. And the third is the general evaluation section will be conducted by the general evaluator. Now, without any further delay, let's welcome our relaxed, chill, and friendly Robina, table topic master.
Good afternoon, everyone. Selamat Hari Merdeka / Malaysia Day month, however you want to call it. But I think everybody is the same, where we're all excited around this time of the year, where everybody comes together, remembers that we're all Malaysians, despite our differences, despite however we think, that's one thing that binds us all together, right? So as our great Toastmaster of the Day mentioned just now, I am handling the table topic section for today. And today we are going to, in this section, we would like to invite volunteers to come up and sharpen your skills about how you like to talk on your, think on your feet, right? Not much of preparation here, but there are a couple of things to help you. First of all, we will be having a selection of topics. Now, in case you didn't know, I'm very excited when it comes to Merdeka Day or Malaysia Day. So one of the things that happens is I get very nostalgic. I'm one of those from the past generations. I think during lunch here, we were talking about Generation X, and I'm not sure where am I. But I wanted to share a bit of that spirit with you. So one of the best ways to share the spirit is through song. This is where I hope technology helps me.
Is it on?
It is on. Okay, so there are many songs that have happened throughout the year, throughout all the years, and a lot of these songs brings back memories. So for the young ones in the room who may not be familiar with the song, get ready to learn something.
Is there.
Okay, pop quiz, everybody know what song that was? Exactly. Alright, so the whole idea, the topics for today, the choices that our table topics participants will have is a list of 6 songs, right? And as you probably guessed, the surprise is open already. We'll probably hear a little bit about the song as well. Wow. But don't worry, this is not your table topic.
Oh, really?
So if you select 31 August, it's not that you have to talk about 31 August, right?
Okay.
So when you come up here, for those of you who are new to table topics, you won't have to be speaking forever. There will be a time limit of between 2 to 3 minutes. And to help you, our wonderful timekeeper will do a bit of help, where at 1 minute, you will see the green light turn on. So that will tell you you've passed 1 minute. At 1.5 minutes, the amber light will come on. At 2 minutes, the red light will come on, and that's when you need to start wrapping up and finishing. And if you're still have a lot to say, our timekeeper will very politely, at 2.5 minutes, signal bye. And then you can take your seat. Okay? So if y'all are interested or you would like to know a little bit of what these songs sound like, or you haven't heard some of these songs for a long time, I really would like to encourage you to take the step and come up here and tell us a little bit about what's on your mind. Can I have the first volunteer, please? Super! Which of the songs you'd like to hear? Okay, excellent. Very nice. And before you start, wow, so nice.
Saya anak Malaysia, saya anak Malaysia, saya anak Malaysia, saya anak Malaysia.
Okay, so your question is, what does anak Malaysia mean to you? So far, what does anak Malaysia mean to you?
Anak Malaysia. I'm definitely an Anak Malaysia because I was born in Sungai Petani, Kedah. And the fact that I'm a Malaysian makes me feel very proud. Why do I really say so? Because since I started working, I started to travel around Asia, not the world yet, around Asia. And whenever I travel to other countries, it reminds me that I'm a Malaysian. And not only that, when I go to other countries, especially when I visit the Toastmasters Club in other countries like in Korea or even in Taiwan and Hong Kong, when I introduce myself as a Malaysian, I'm very proud actually. And the fact that when I speak in front, they already know that I'm Malaysian because somehow I have the Malaysian kind of English. So I will always share with them how does a Malaysia Toastmasters Club meet and what our culture, what do we eat, especially the food topic is a very hot topic that we discuss among ourselves with other people. So when I see the culture in other countries, it reminds me that I need to understand more about my culture. And I'm not that really 100% very sure about our culture because it is so diverse. There are so many things to learn about in Malaysia. The Indian culture, the Chinese culture, the Malay culture, everything. It's something that we need to always learn and improve on. So, and not only that, whenever I come back from a trip, when I'm in the aeroplane, when always I heard the captain say that, welcome back to Malaysia. So I always feel very emotional when I always hear that sentence from the captain's mouth. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share with all of you, till today, as a Malaysian, no matter what age you are or what kind of background you are from, what have you contributed to the country? It's a very deep topic that I would say, but always remind ourselves that we are a Malaysian, even though you travel to other countries, but the fact that you are Malaysian, please don't forget that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sokwa. And I think nothing says it better about being anak Malaysia than to have a Chinese lady wearing a baju kurung. Excellent. Thank you very much. Now, may I have the second volunteer, please? All the topics relate to you. Don't worry, you don't need any full-on knowledge. I see Ramesh giving me a hint. Can we have one of the GX? Just so you know, we all have anak before. Okay, so anak Malaysia, anak Malaysia has been taken. Did we make another selection?
I think standing in the eyes of the world.
Standing in the eyes of the world. Very nice.
So you like the song?
Your name is Adib, right?
Yeah.
Adib.
Okay, so Adib, standing in the eyes of the world was the time when Malaysia came into the limelight. But we wanted to know, can you tell us of the first time you gained your own independence? Because Merdeka is not so Merdeka is not just about the country gaining independence, but each of us would probably have gone through a time where you felt like you were finally independent. Or if you haven't, tell us of a time when you foresee that you feel like you gained your independence.
Oh my God. Practically is under my
Okay. Space slot.
Okay, okay. Hello and good evening to you guys. For me personally, I still haven't independence yet because I still under the care of my parents and also Mr. Ramesh. If I'm not mistaken, the term independence is that you can be on your own. Is that you don't need any help, you can do everything by your own. So from this meaning, I think I still not independent yet because I still need a lot of experience and also a lot of guidance from all the experienced guys and also teachers so that I can be the best that I can. And also, I think that's it. I totally agree this one. Good.
Okay, sure. Sorry about that. I always have to throw in a couple of hard questions. I promise not all of them. Alright, timekeepers, we have another one. Okay, Okay, so we have time for one more volunteer.
We go to Zimbabwe, we have a Chinese, we have a Malay, the next is.
The ladies at the
India.
across from you.
Indian.
I keep my word.
Winston.
How about area C2 director?
Yeah.
Sorry, one.
Yo,
Okay.
cái Saki. Saki is
Okay, I will choose to do my
Yes.
Very lucky I got back up. Oh, wow. Okay, if you say Sudirman, I'm sorry guys, my laptop has sort of like died on me. Okay, so Sudirman has got 2 songs on my list.
Okay.
One is 31 August, another one is the one that he won the competition in London, 1,000 million marks.
Wow.
Ravina
So
Singh.
one oldie, one still old but not so old as 31 August. Still go for 31st August. 31st August, excellent. Okay. So for 31 August, okay, this should be an easy one.
Okay.
What is the best way to celebrate Merdeka Day? Alright,
Oh.
so the topic is, what is the best way to celebrate Merdeka Day? Paper topic. Thank you.
Can I have a show of hands? How many people celebrated Merdeka Day by sleeping in their home on the 31st of August?
Oh my God.
Oh, honestly, I did the same thing. But this particular Merdeka Day was a bit different because for the first time in my life, I actually saw on my Facebook the Merdeka Day parade, which until this year I had never seen before. I had heard rumors that it existed and that it happens in Dataran Merdeka. And I watched everything on Facebook Live that morning, and I was blown away that it was such a beautiful parade where you had the different armed forces, you had the Sultan making an appearance, and even greater, you can see the Permaisuri album so excitedly with her phone everywhere, snapping and recording everything and posting to her own Twitter account. I realized how much am I missing out on. So I told myself that next year I'm going to make it different for myself. Next year I will definitely go and attend the Merdeka Day parade because it is essentially a carnival, ladies and gentlemen. There is food to be had everywhere. There is drinks everywhere, and then you get to see a beautiful parade. You get to see an air formation by the Air Force. What more do you want from a Merdeka Day celebration? So my urging to all of you is that if you feel like it, come and join me next year, 31st August. Let's all meet up at Dataran Merdeka and watch the Merdeka Day parade. Back to you.
Okay, with that, I would like to thank you all for your participation and not to forget the other reward for coming up here besides breaking any fear you may have standing here independently. We would also like to invite you to vote for the best table topic speaker. If I can bring your attention to the voting platform, we do our voting online. So if you can access the website Slido, sli.po on your phone. For those of you who have the link via the WhatsApp group, you can also go in that way. Put in the code IJM TMC and vote for the best table topic speaker. All right. With that, thank you very much. I'll pass it back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Ravina. She always bring innovative idea for us with playing the video, although I don't know what song is that. Now, welcome our general evaluator, Sri Niwas. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, apologies, I am Sri. I'm apologizing for my name, apologizing for coming late. My name is Sri, I'm the general evaluator today. Any non-Toastmasters in this room?
Yes. A lot.
Yeah. Alright, so towards the end of the meeting, because third session of Toastmasters meeting, I'll be introducing the evaluators and then we'll give the evaluation. I'll be giving feedback to them as well as for the entire meeting.
Thank you. And now we have a gender reminder. If you heard everyone mention the word of the day, independence, please give a like to them. Thumbs up.
I say Merdeka count, right?
Oh. And now we have our first prepared speech speaker, Madhura, which is a Toastmaster finishing at level 5 and about to do her elective project, moderate a panel discussion. Let's welcome Madhura. Madhura, Merdeka, how far we have come? Merdeka, how far we have come, Madhura? Give me a moment. Okay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
We are one. We have one flag, one nation, and one everything. Who are we?
Malaysians.
We are Malaysians. Today, our panel discussion is going to be revolved around the theme Merdeka. And our title today is Merdeka, How Far We Have Truly Come. Now, I have three interesting panelists. I've invited three IJMers from different cultural backgrounds, supposedly. But I would like to announce that Puan couldn't make it today, so we have a replacement, which is Michael, who's dressed up in an Indian costume. Thank you very much. We have them here today so that we can capture the differences that we have as Malaysians. May I welcome the panelists now. Let's start with Rizman, who is here all the way from Seoul Division.
Wow. Yeah.
Red is my color, sorry.
Thank you for being here, Rizman. And our next panelist is Miss Janice Wu from Corporate Services. Thank you for being here, Ms. Janice. Last but not least, I would like to invite Michael. We all should take our seats.
Michael, what are you wearing?
Okay. So, just to have a brief introduction on of all three of you, could we start with Rizman first? Just tell us like what you do in our Seoul division and just who you are. Yeah, could be about your family or anything.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
My name is Rizman. I'm from IJM Toll Division. So Toll Division, for you guys who have no knowledge, IJM Toll Division, we operate 3 highways: the Vestoria Highway, the NT Highway, and the Nekas Highway. So for the Nekas Highway, we own 50% of it. The other 50% is Kasih. So I've been with IJM for about 6 to 7 years. I started my career in Kuantan Port. Then I was transferred to HQ, IJM Facility. And a few years back, I was transferred to Toll Division. So taking care of the corporate comm sector.
Thank you, Rizman. Janice?
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janice Fu. I'm the secretary reporting to the Deputy CEO and Deputy Managing Director of IJM Corp. I'm assisting my boss in fixing up his appointments, his engagement, and also I'm running through his business letters. I'm replying to them, you know. And
How long have you been with IJM?
I've been at IJM for about 26 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's not my age actually. So I was born when you joined IJM. Michael?
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm with IJM for about 2 years already. Just 1/10 of how much you spend the time over here in IJM. I'm just right now working in innovation team, going around doing good stuff. So you happen to bump into me to say hello. Usually I'll just stay on level 3 here. Come to talk to me, I'll just give you some brainstorming and things like that to do it together. Yep.
All right, thank you, Michael. Thank you all for being here and to be willing to share your stories. So I know all of you are eager to hear what they have in store. So let's start. My first question to them would be, please tell us your hometown, your favorite Malaysian dish, and your best Merdeka memories. Let's start with Rizma, maybe. Or whoever want to go first, you guys can bounce ideas. Yeah.
Ladies first.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Being polite,
I'm from Ipoh.
Yay.
I studied in SMK College Ipoh.
Yay, go away.
Oh, really? Same.
Same age.
Same age.
The best memories that I had. There was, I still remember there was year 1984. Our school, SMJK Main Convent, was filled with patriotic, this kind of spirit. Whereby I can see like pupils, teachers, they came together, worked together. They used the creativity to decorate the school, in conjunction of Merdeka Day celebration. At the time, I was 17 years. I was so excited, about decorating the school, compounds with young Gamina. It was the first time that, we were decorating the school in such a grand scale. Besides the Jalan Gemilang, we also put up some of the state flags as well. There were various activities, games organized for the pupils, like drawings, colorings of the national and the state flags. I still remember that night of the Merdeka celebration. There's a group of us from SMK Main Convent people representing the school to participate in the dance performance, in the cultural dance performance organized by Ipoh City,
City Council.
by the Ipoh City Council. I still remember that day we went to the school very early to have a rehearsal. Then later afternoon, we would dress up in our Chinese costume, get ready with heavy makeup, this and that. Then the school will arrange a transport to send us to Taman Sin Masakam. I believe that those people from Ipoh, it was a very large park, right? So we performed the Chinese fan dance. It was a good experience exposure for me because I can see that, during that night, there were people there were spectators that came dressed in patriotic costumes, and they're waving their mini Jalur Gemilang. So I was very pleased and very happy to be there that night to celebrate the Merdeka celebration.
How old were you, Miss Janice, at that time?
17.
17. So that must have been such an impactful.
Yes, very, very memorable, and it's really.
I can't remember what I was doing at 17. Definitely, didn't go to any of these parades at 17 except for the ones that were held in school. Rizma, do you have anything to?
Well, for me, I hear from Pekan Pahang. Anybody from Pekan? I know it's from Pekan. So I went to school at St. Thomas. Anybody went to St. Thomas? Yeah, I don't went to St. Thomas. So my playground was the St. Thomas Church. So we stayed in a harmonious school, harmonious area. So my best moments for Merdeka is participating in Merdeka parade. So I had the privilege in joining the parade in Takaran Merdeka. And last year IJM participated the Merdeka parade in I was trying to ask, anybody participated last year?
Yeah, I think I.
We had such an exciting time, dressing up together, showing our togetherness, showing our camaraderie spirit, showing we are one as IJM, even though there are many of them there, but we stick together, we took care of each other, the straight lines. So the feeling was fantastic. It was a fantastic moment for everybody. So all through my life, from other companies, even during screen times, I participated in these parades. It was lovely.
Alright, thank you, Rizwan. Michael, you have
Just to add on to this one experience, right? It's truly something that's another level experience of how you can feel unity in Malaysia. And I think when the time we just started that trainings on this Dataran TMC, right? We struggle a lot to get even to march on the same leg, same line, and so on. And that's where when people come to stand up to say that, hey guys, let's do this together, and people will start to chant, to shout, and just to make everyone to align and to very much according to what the instructor wants us to do. And imagine that, and the magical things happen is that on the day itself in Korea, things look very well. It was perfect. And that's where we stand to sense that when we come to doing things together, we have the same goal, same things we want to achieve. And that when unity comes, we can do really great things together. As a Malaysian, that's what we really need this day.
Yeah, I guess at this point, on this note, togetherness is so important. So would you guys encourage your children to continue to live in Malaysia for the decades to come? Because right now we see a lot of us sending our children overseas, and because the opportunities there are better and things like that. But what do you say? Start with Michael.
I'll take it differently in such a way that I will still sending my kids out to overseas to study, for them to explore the world, because I think it's important for them to learn from the outside and how they see in Malaysia. Just give an example is that when I traveled to Europe, I do share the same sentiment I was that we really appreciate, we miss what we have in Malaysia a lot. And I think that for my kids is that for them to go outside, experience it themselves, how other different people live their life. And when they come back in Malaysia, I think that you give that great sense of appreciation that being Malaysian is so unique, is so wonderful. Yeah. And back to the question that whether I want my kids to be here, yes, that's where we live, we born, and this is where place we put our root here. And it's important for our kids also to appreciate that they must stay and do something for the country.
I would echo what my brother said. Since independent, so we have progressed a lot. But for us to live here in Malaysia, as Malaysians are a brand. You do not forget your brand. You must be proud of your brand. You must spotlight your brand as the best brand in the world. You are Malaysians, so never forget your roots. For me to encourage, yes, I would enforce that for them to nurture how their life will be. You know, the grass won't be greener, probably it won't be greener on the other side.
Yeah.
The grass at your side, probably if you nurture, you take care, you water them, probably it'll be greener than the other side. You wouldn't know. So for you to be a Malaysian, as I say, it's a branding kind of thing. You need to be proud of your brand. Be proud of Malaysia. Focus on Malaysia, bring Malaysia together as a team.
It's funny now that you pointed that out. The other day I was having a chat with my friend who is a foreigner. And she just highlighted to me that recently in Malaysia there's a lot of racial comments going on. And she was quite alarmed. Then I told her, why are you alarmed? We are fine. Racial slurs and racial comments are normal, bro. We are all here as brothers and sisters. And actually we don't take this very seriously. And I think that's very important to bring the peace. And actually it was quite a proud moment because when I told her that, I said that it's just something that we do, but at the end of the day, we are all one. So that was a proud moment. Janice, maybe you want to add something?
Yes, I was encouraging my children to stay in Malaysia because we are Malaysian. And moreover, Malaysia is free of, natural disaster. Right? The food is good, so has the people. If my children, when they grow up, they opt to study overseas, I won't also discourage. I will also encourage them maybe they can spend a few years in overseas to get exposure, experience. After that, I would encourage the children to come back to stay in Malaysia. But it's up to them. I won't be forcing them. So I think Malaysia is a good country to stay in.
Yeah, we
And
have.
with the- sorry. And with the-
Keep that thought. Keep that thought.
So with the new government, I hope that things will get better, right? A place that that we can look up to, live in harmony for the whole society.
Yeah, Risma, you wanted to say something.
Well, the idea that it is my idea, but probably I'll talk on it a bit later.
Okay, yeah, sure. Speaking about food, Miss Janice, that you highlighted, you actually, all three of you haven't told us what's your favorite Malaysian dish. Come on, I know there's so many. We just had nasi lemak, but pick your
Asam
favorite. Asam laksa.
It's my favorite.
Nice.
Too much.
Too many? Penang food, nasi lemak, Indian food,
Whatever Singapore claims to be a national food, we like it.
We
Because
take it back.
it thinks that there's Malaysian food, it's not Singaporean food.
Not Singaporean food, yes. Rizlan? I know.
I would say nasi kandar.
Nasi ganda is the best thing that you've.
Yeah, because I've grown up. My best friends are Indians. You know, I grew up in Tampere. Is there anybody from Tampere? So Tampere, is Rosca railway station. That's my playground.
Wow.
We used to have hangouts. We used to have camping. All my friends are all Indians, so I grew up in there. So we go to the rivers, we dive into the rivers. So there's a tree trunk beside the river. We go underneath there.
Wow.
So luckily I'm here means I'm. So I go to houses for money for any festivity. So life back then was harmonious. You know, we had our differences even now, but yet we respect each other. So we are here, different races, different religions, but we can stay in one harmonious.
I think that's something that many other countries can't claim. And I also think that food is one of the things that have brought us closer together, I suppose. So my next question would be, living in this diverse community gives Malaysians an incredible range of skills and values. However, sometimes the government thinks that there are certain skills and talents that are lacking in Malaysia, or the best talents here go overseas. So, what are the talents and skills do you think that Malaysian might need to prosper? Yeah, go ahead.
I think a unique mix of hard and soft skills.
Hard and soft skills.
That's right. For Malaysians to prosper. It's just like, for example, hard skill is a very basic requirement, I think, for the job. But now you can see employers, what they look up is for those candidates with soft skill, like, work ethic, communication skill, right and positive attitude, and a self-motivated person. So when you're a self-motivated person, you can perform well. It's just like you've been given a task and you can't communicate with your, with your subordinates or your teamwork. How do you can get the message across.
Sure.
So you can execute. This is what I'm.
Is this coming from something that you see often among youngsters, or?
Yes, I do observe some in a company.
Lacking the skill.
Yes. As far as I'm concerned, you must have the right attitude. Even though you can be a British stakeholder, you must have the right attitude. And so your personality, the inner beauty.
That's you, is that?
Yeah, I would echo again. I want to say, because to me, let's go back to basics. With all the issues that happening now in the country, we need to look at social skills. How do we communicate? How do we get along with each other? How do you respect? You respect to be respected. You need to know. You need to be mindful of others. To get along with others in this country. To make it harmonious. You take care of each other, and then the other person will take care of you like neighbors. You have 40 neighbors around you, so you know each other by name. Like now, communication is what Jenny said, communication. When was the last time you heard the telephone rang in your office? People don't talk anymore. People just text, WhatsApp, even driving, even riding, people text. So what is happening to this world or this country? So we need to talk to each other actually. So probably it will be good for a meeting for us to leave our phones outside, for us actually, so we can communicate, we can look at each other. So your verbal skill, your non-verbal communication skill, also the things.
That's totally true. I think technology, although it has helped us a lot, sometimes it has also made us numb to people, and we prefer to text the person who, even though he's right next to us, hey, do you want to go for lunch? But he's right next to you, right? So in that note, Michael, what do you?
I think Malaysia have fantastic technical skill for a reason. If you look at all these sort of inventions or certain things that research and sometimes the star and even Malaysia just come up, oh, certain Malaysian shine in overseas. And I think what Malaysians really lack of is actually EQ, emotional quality. We get emotional easily. We get just blown up and take things very personal. And you can see it these days in the media a lot. And how many Malaysians should be more objective or have more critical thinking to say that, hey, guys, look at it, look at the bigger picture. What we should have as a Malaysian, we shouldn't be short-sighted and be look ahead a lot more. So Malaysian, for whatever reason, I think that what in our education system right now lack of is how to shape a person to behave as just as a basic as a human to each other. That's what I think is what is really needed. Probably we should go back to really looking into political moral in a more effective way rather than just pop out. You just just memorizing, but you're not using it or you're not really implement or applying it. Not really.
True. I think as compared to maths, maybe we could bring civic classes or social, like soft skills classes into schools and just take off maths from the syllabus maybe. Because I don't see how the use of mathematics is right? But anyway, thank you very much for all of you. Do you guys have anything else to add? Any last lines about being a Malaysian, anak Malaysia? Any advice that?
Well, to me, skinny.
Oh, anyway.
For me, it will be like I said, go back to the roots, go back to the basic. Probably the knowledge that we require, we have acquired before. But what we need to do probably will be to learn, relearn, and unlearn. That's the keyword.
Okay, thank you, Rizman. I think from our discussion today, let me just wrap up the session before we open for questions from the floor. We spoke about the memories of celebrating Merdeka, and what I got was, I think the main event that has been taking place for 62 years is the Merdeka parade. I think all of us are familiar with the parades, and all of us love the parade because that is when we can see who we truly are, the unity in us, and what we should actually be looking forward to and what we should actually teach our kids. So the second thing that we spoke about is that we also shared about keeping our Malaysian talents in Malaysia. Sure, you can send your children to gain exposure, get the experience around the world, travel the world, but when you come back, this is home. Malaysia is home, and I think the advice to all of us is to stick to our roots, and that's very important. Last but not least, the talents that Malaysians have. I think moving forward, nowadays, academic knowledge is not only sufficient or enough. What's more important is the soft skills that we learn, the respect of the diverse cultural backgrounds that we have, and the communication and the aptitude we have as Malaysians. This is the brand that we bring out to other countries when we travel.
So thank you very much to our three panelists. Now I would like to open the floor to some questions. I think either, yeah, Suko, you have a question? Question or, no, she seemed eager, so yeah, she looks very ready. It's either a question
I'm really
or
interested. Thank you very much for all the panelists for sharing your experience about being Malaysians. I would like to ask Michael.
Okay.
Okay. If you are the Prime Minister of Malaysia currently, so what is the one thing that you would like to do for your people? One thing enough, one thing. Yeah.
Just one thing.
Yeah.
There's
why,
one thing
and why,
I always
yeah.
thought I want to fix. Has been echoing in my mind for the past 10
Wow.
Wow, 10 years.
Honestly speaking, is just to share with you that when I get interviewed for this President Award, they ask the same thing. Same thing. Okay. What do you do? What do you do to fix one thing that you fix Malaysia as a Prime Minister? I always say education. I always disagree of this thing called how we call that, different education system in Malaysia. I come from a background of having in a pure Chinese school, get into a mixed school, and then get into a technical school where 90% are non-Malay, 90% are Malay, and the very minority. And I get to feel that experience of being a majority or being a minority.
in a Chinese school.
In a Chinese school, in a mixed school, then in a technical school. It's a boarding school. So that's where I actually get to learn on the other side of the fence. And that's where we have different races. And generally speaking, prior to that, I know my circle of life is all Chinese. So I always thought that is that we need actually a school system that is what we call a unified school system. Not saying that you must get the best of all these different schools, aliran school they call it, put it into one system that is so good for all Malaysians, that can bring Malaysia to the next level. And like I said, it's very important for us to know each other, to respect each other. There's something that you can't get it by just learning technical skills, but you have to be really mingle, get to know each other, and then get the best of everything. You see the Chinese school, they talk about hard work pays. When you into the mixed school, they talk about respect, diversity, they talk about a balance in terms of school and also your academy and also your non-academy. And the technical school, I attend the boarding school, then it's about learning into on yourself, on your feet, independence. You go boarding school, you don't have moms to cook or whatever for you really. That's where I learned that it's important we fix the education system, get everyone to be under one roof. Then we talk about the rest. When we don't have the right education system that have the basic, that's the right root, the house will fall anyway. So fix that first.
That's right. So you will medal the education
Yes,
system.
I think we have different of view from Ramesh.
Sorry, yeah. Go ahead.
I'd like to ask maybe any of these panelists, because we heard interesting views from all of you. We as a nation, ever since from independence, do you think we have progressed or regressed in the sense of unity and acceptance of our diversified culture or diversification?
Let me just quickly share. I just take televisions, for example, television program in the 90s, and you can see all sort of advertisement. I would say there's no restrictions. There's still a bit of restrictions on what you can put it up. But I think people more chill and people more acceptance that there's differences between different techniques. Whatever they publish out is probably in the message that, hey guys, this is for entertainment or whatnot. But this day, I think people get, I said, in the level that people can become very sensitive about everything. And it may not be to majority of us. It could be the few that make the loudest noise and make things become very such a way that it is like crumbling. I would say that on the surface it looks very bad, but inside all of us we know that it is still strong holding each other. It's a matter of when we will open up again and talk to each other to say that, "Hey guys, this is something that is trying to disturb us, break us apart. Let's stay united." Okay. So as I said, take television's progress as well example.
Yeah, I would agree with Michael as well. So I would think there's some progression, there's some regression as well together simultaneously. So we come from far, we have learned to live harmoniously with each other, respect each other's culture, respect each other's way of living. But on the other hand, we sometimes blow out of proportion petty things. We tend to be sensitive about small things that disturb probably only us. It doesn't disturb anybody else. It doesn't disturb the other race. But us as a minority. Minority means these are in our circle of influence. So it has helps on us. But yet we blow it out of proportion. We want to make it as a national agenda. We want to make it as, hey, it's your problem as well. It's your problem as well. On the other hand, it's only your problem.
Dennis, would you like to go? All right. Any other questions? Yes, Robina.
Thank you very much. I think there was some really great insights and point of views. So I'm just curious, and I think as teacher, I'm just wondering the difference between the past generation and now. I think one of the biggest things is youth, especially with social media, their voice can be heard throughout everywhere. And I think that ties in with what you guys were saying about getting emotional about things. So if you had a chance, what would be your advice specifically to Malaysian youth about keeping the peace, especially the peace that we all treasure and we look back and very nostalgic on? What would be your piece of advice to Malaysian youth?
That's a good question, Robina. I think her question really ties into Ramesh's question as well.
I would say, do not react. You act, but you don't react. Example, in television. So there are a lot of roads, as you all know, concessionaires of highways. We have plus highway, highway, the plus highway, Western highway, the highway. You as a user, probably on a daily basis, you deal with jams, you deal with congestion here and there. What do? You react with, oh, jam there. And then you complain without finding out whose highway is there.
Ours, right?
The perception of Malaysia.
Yeah.
Highways or plus highway. Highways or then you send the tweet or you send the complaint to everybody.
Alright.
So what are you doing? Are you being good? Are you highlighting something? Or you just purely complain? So it's for us to act.
I think to add on to Rizman, I think being youth, critical thinking. Before we do something, just think about it. The next action we're going to take, is it bringing harm or value to the society? If you are, whatever you tweet in the social media, yes, it makes you look cool for the 5 minutes, but the impact to the people around you may not know. If something is good, more than happy to share. But it's not, it's harming the society. Go back, think twice. I'll just say that.
Sure. Janice, maybe something that you will say to your children.
I just like my children. Sometimes whatever they do, I say you think twice before you execute or you do something. That's very important. Not like my children, sometimes I say, when you approach someone, just like you approach someone, you have to have manners, learn to respect the other side, right? If you take things from my handbag, we have to ask, because you have to learn to respect me. Like, this is my advice to the youth, is learn to respect and to look at how, in order to find faults in others, you must look at yourself first. That's very important. So in order to be peace and order, you need to respect all races, regardless of religion and so on.
Yes, I think that would be the core advice living in Malaysia, is to learn how to respect the other races. So again, thank you very much to our 3 panelists. To end this, Merdeka 3 times. Merdeka!
something. Thanks to Master for inviting us here.
Thank you
Thanks for
sharing.
coming.
Thanks, Madura, for such an interesting section, moderate a panel discussion. So, do you think how's the discussion is? It was truly true that I always posted in the social media that always say complain about peanut butter, strawberry, jam, jam, jam. Why not we change from ourselves, wake up earlier and come to work earlier, and instead of complain in the social media? So, thanks, Madura. And now, let us invite our second speaker, Chloe Chong, a little girl with a big dream to Paris. Chloe Chong. Chloe Chong, leader, Chloe Chong. Martin Luther J.R. King once said, "A genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a mover of consensus." Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention to close your eyes and follow me along. Leaders, leadership style. Are both the words familiar to you? And are you the one who acquiring the skills of it? Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. It is my pleasure to present my understanding on leadership style to all of you. Leaders. Leaders is the person who leads a team, a committee, with his or her leadership skills to bring the team, to influence others, to accomplish the goal. There are many, many great leaders in the world, such as Abraham Lincoln, Barack Obama, and not to forget the father of independence, our Tunku Abdul Rahman, who freed all of us from the British colonization in 1957. Be the leader. My topic of the day. It is not easy to conquer this topic, as I shall share the essence and gist of it. I still remember a few months ago, I joined a district annual conference in Malacca. And that was the first time I listened to our current international Toastmaster president, Deepak Menon, on his speech titled, Walk the Talk, Talk the Walk. His title is mainly on leadership style, leadership skills, and also the gist for you to be an impactful leader during his plenary session. So first of all, as a leader. Leader, this word, it begins with the letter L. What does L to all of you means? Leader, to lead. A leader, for you, yourself, you would think to lead the others. But for me, leaders, to lead is to lead yourself. Before you can lead others, you should lead yourself. A leader should fulfill his or herself in acquiring knowledges, various knowledges, so that he can lead others. As Jesus Christ once said, if blind leading the blind, both will fall to the ditch.
For instance, an example of mine. I was the general secretary in my university life, and I need to ensure myself to acquire all the basic knowledge on the standard procedures of the school management in terms of documentation presentation, documentation on proposal, so that I can lead and share this experience to the 20 other secretaries under me. Next, follow on, will be empathy. E, I need all of you to power yourself on this powerful word letter E. Why is it empathy? Empathy means you feel others. Does empathy means that you feel bad to others? But to me, empathy means you should put yourself as a leader in others people's shoes. As a leader, you have to develop a very good interpersonal skills. For example, this followed me throughout my academic life, a good listener. And this is also being said by my friend. You should be a good listener. Why? Being a good listener, you can know what others think. You should know what others think. In a team, even though you organize a meeting or an event, there are many different types of people. People from all around the world, they have different ideas, people from all walks of life. So they will have conflicts, disputation, and you as a leader, will you just stand on your own point, or will you listen to everyone and analyze so that you can build a cohesive team? The empathy on this, because empathy is a kind of emotion. And in order to master the language of leadership skill, the art of communication plays the important role. Perhaps I shall give you a thought on it, on these two situations. Chloe, you did wrong on your calculation. Or you will say, Chloe, do you think your calculation may have some part went wrong because it is not tally with mine? So, as a leader, which type of conversation will you choose when you face your subordinate or even your friends or your teammates? Last but not least, I will join both of these as A and D, approachable and decisiveness. As a leader, you should be approachable and also decisiveness. Why? Being approachable means you are charisma, you are friendly, you are sincere, and you are always respecting each other in your team. It is not easy to become a very approachable person. A little story to share to all of you. You may think that I am serious. Because I always show the serious look. But if someone really keeps really friends with me, she will know this is just my facial expression. And they will know I'm not that serious. So be approachable so that people will come and connect with you. And this is also where your networking builds. In addition, a leader is a risk taker. So, because they need to overcome the challenge and also to make a great difference. They serve as the role model of your team. And you may need to know, as a leader, you will have a number of people who are going to rely on you. So as the saying goes by John C. Maxwell, you remember, a leader is the one who knows the way, who goes the way and shows the way. In conclusion, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. But once you are a leader, success is motivating and influencing your teammates to go along with you. Lead empathy, approachable, and decisiveness. These four words may frame you to become the role model or the role of leader in every one of you. Throughout the understanding on different various leadership styles, I know that and I believe I'm more towards the democratic style. Before I end my speech, I hope I generate some insights to all of you with these four words. And the message for me to bring back, and the message from me to bring back for all of you is, do think that you are now a manager, you are now an executive, you are now a father or mother, but are you an impactful leader to everyone of you beside you? Thank you. Thank you, Chloe Shaw. Actually, Chloe Shaw is a good leader also. She has the four characteristics: lead, empathy, approachable, decisiveness. She lead by example. She joined the external club meeting. She has the empathy. She has put herself into other people's shoes. She compiled all the attendees and sent to the SAA before lunchtime, a day before. She also don't judge a book by her cover. She's not fierce that enough. She is very friendly, sweet. Now let's pass the stage to the General Evaluator, Sri Niwas.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I believe we're slightly behind time, so I'm straight going to rush into evaluation. Please put your hands together. Our first evaluator today who will be evaluating table topic speaker, competent leader Vidya.
Thank you, Judy. So today we had three wonderful speakers. So can we have a loud applause to all the three speakers who bravely come up? First of all, Super. Her topic was Anak Malaysia. She started out so well. She said why she is Anak Malaysia. She talked about her personal story. She talked about how she go around with Malaysia and what she does in foreign country. She also shared about her proud moments when she shared about our culture, about our food, and also our nation. She started out so well. She brilliantly articulated her speech content. Was a good starting with the content, and also she had a conclusion for her speech. She also included some points that we could relate it. For example, like the captain's part, like when the captain say like, oh, you have arrived in Malaysia. So something which we all of us can relate it. One point that I will say that you could improve in future is your conclusion part was very good that you reminded everyone to contribute to the nation, but then it was very open-ended. You ended up with saying that please don't forget. So it was very open. So next I will go on to Adif. Adif, it was a very good try. You are a very charming person and you're very cool. It shows that the way you are standing here that you have no fear of stage. You're very cool about coming in front and talking to people. Only thing you was a bit nervous about the topic that they're going to give it to you. But I think like if you got what the topic was and you are familiar with the stage, you're already familiar, when you're familiar with the table topic sessions, then I think that you will go around. One thing that I will say that you could improve in future will be when you're given a topic, you may want to talk about your personal, just don't take it so serious, just make it so simple. Just take it in a way like you are talking to your friend. If your friend asks about independence, so you may want to share about how you feel about your own independence. So just make it as simple as possible. And later on, you can improve further. The next will be Kishan. Kishan's topic was 31st August. was very much related, like all of us sleep during the leave. She started out with a question asking who always like whom sleep during that day. So I do. And he said that he watched about the parade and he was so interested. He showed his enthusiasm that he wants to go for the parade the next session. And he had a very good eye contact with all the audience. One thing I noticed about him is he's a very good storyteller, that he can really go with the flow. He was talking what was in the parade, was literally explaining one by one, and he's going to experience it next year, and he urged all of us to come together. So well done on that. So overall, all the speakers did their great job. That's all from me.
Madam President, I just have a question. Was there any point improvement for the third speaker? That's okay. And we can off the light now. One of the reasons I always mention, because very often when we evaluate the district officers in a very gentle manner. I am a bit of reverse thinking. For me, higher you go, cow. Right? I mean, because when you take bigger responsibility, you are a better speaker. The expectations from you are slightly higher compared to somebody like Adil, trying for first time or maybe second time, compared to Kishan and compared to Sopa, who's been to this division level championship. So you have to be slightly more harder. I know it's a lot more hard work for you, but that's what they're only here to take them higher. Okay, that is the expectation for our next evaluator too. We all enjoyed how the panel session, the different speakers are speaking from the experience, from their life. I think that was very interesting, but I think this particular project this session will focus on how was the moderator. For that, can I say newly minted DTM, because a month ago you were not. About 2 months ago you were not DTM,
Yes.
so please be
Toastmasters. Madura. Don't set the tone. We will talk. Now, as the moderator, you have displayed a few of these values that I feel I'm attracted to. One of it is you are an immaculate coordinator. Why I say you are an immaculate coordinator? Because you have planned a topic which is in sync with our team. That is good for a coordinator or even a planner. Next is to choose panelists. The idea was to choose a panelist from a different ethnicity, and they also had different level of experience in their life. Somebody who has been with this company for 26 years old, and somebody is new and all that. So I thought that you are an immaculate coordinator and planner. And I'd like to look into the way that you did this session into three. First is the way you set the tone, the opening. Next is when you moderate the whole event. Then you conclude which is your summation. Let's look into the opening. What you did was, I liked when we asked this very simple, you set the tone of asking a basic question to them because you wanted to set the tone, which is like, tell us about yourself, where you're from, etc. But my expectation was slightly more than that. Why was more than that? Because the title was Merdeka, how far we have come. So I was my expectation, pun that expectation, because I was expecting we're going to touch on a lot of other topics which can create more audience awareness, they can get more engaged, they can get more into it. Nevertheless, the audience were into you because when you spoke about food. Now let's look at some of the way that they ask question in the moderation. You have a nice way of asking question. You have that very humbleness, humility in you, which you should have for all the moderators. You took note during the moderation session. I would like to see more of these things. Challenge yourself and asking them a bit of a difficult question. It has been 62 years. What do you think? Where have you been? You can ask one of the panelists. She says she's from Ipoh. You've been long with us, long in there on this country. What do you think? So set that tone. When that tone is set, that's just where you relate back to your
topic, remember, remain steadfast to the objective of your moderation session. Don't go out of the tangent. I felt like in some places they were out of tangent, but you managed to bring it back and you spoke about unity, spoke about talent and skill. My expectation was more than that. I wanted to see you asking them, do you think we are facing brain drain in this country? Where you use your vocal variety and you are in this session you're supposed to use you as a speaker and your vocal variety and also your gestures. Do you think this is brain drain in this country? And let them go next door. Then when you sum up what all of them had said, including the audience, rather than just thanking the panelists. Sum it up, fellow audience. There's been 62 years since Merdeka. What we say is this: as a nation, we have some lackings which was shared by our panel. Nevertheless, the country has progressed in sense of unity, in sense of acceptance, etc. And please join me to thank my panelists again, and thank you for all the questions. That's the way you do a submission in moderation. That's my genuine opinion, Allergy. Thank you. That was an interesting evaluation. I believe this is one of those electives not many people do. One of the reasons you don't get a 30 to 40 minute slot in a club meeting.
Yeah.
I had to do the same thing, but outside my club, in different club. I mean, in a non-Toastmasters club for this particular thing. All right, thank you so much, Ramesh. Can I add one more sentence to that, Mathura? As a moderator, you walk in, you take charge. Nothing against the speaker, but you tell them where to sit. Because you pre-decide, pre-arrange with them. Speaker number 1, introduce, then they sit. Speaker number 2, introduce, they sit. Speaker number 3, introduce, they sit. And then when you do 3 cheers for Merdeka, get them involved, each of them 1 cheer. And the most important part of a panel discussion is that audience should not feel like watching a television. We should feel involved and not getting involved. They should feel involved, but you sense them and you ask questions and you make sure they're engaged with you and with them. Whenever you feel that there's engagement from here to there, you cut in and you bring them back to this place. All right, now let's move to our next evaluator for today. That is none other my club president, Toastmaster Hubert from Toastmasters Club. Evaluating our second speaker.
Thank you to our Mr. General Evaluator, distinguished Toastmasters. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Kovichor, I hope I could allow me to show you how was your speech through my evaluation. What I like with your speech is your usage of visual aids. With your visual aids, I was able to register the 4 main points as a leader. And on top of that, you actually utilize several quotes in your speeches. And those quotes actually came from leaders themselves, which actually ties in very well with your speech project. Last but not least, what I think was the best in your speech was you addressed the elephant in the room. Throughout the first part of your speech, I felt that you were very serious. But then, before you ended your speech, you came out and you mentioned about your seriousness, and it really hits home, and it is like the climax in your speech. And we all feel very humored by your mentioning of the elephant in the room. Now, one of the points that I believe you could improve, first of it was at the beginning of your speech, you asked us to close our eyes, but you did not ask us to reopen our eyes. So I was wondering, should I open my eyes now? You want to take note on that? Next is your stage movement. Throughout your speech, you were very rooted at one position. My suggestion is perhaps you could add on some hand gestures, such as when you're mentioning, should a leader be standing on your point or listen to others? Yes, because hand gestures actually helps the audience to understand your point even well. And last but not least, to bring your speech to the next level, I would suggest you to smile more. because it really felt that it was a very serious presentation, and we were all, as the audience, were quite nervous on that. So in conclusion, what I believe you did well was you actually used a visual aid, you incorporated quotes by the leaders, and you actually add in some humor by addressing the elephant in the room. And what I believe you could do well, which is probably remember to ask the audience to open their eyes and just incorporate more stage movements and smile more. And with this, back to you, Mr.
Or maybe leadership is a serious business. All right, now we move to our technical evaluators. Can I call Toastmaster Salviana for our counters report?
Now is so far no procedures. Chloe Chong got so 1, total of 1. Vidya has a president address, so 1, total of 1. Robina 5 3N, total of 8. So far no for failure for table topic speaker number 1, table topic speaker number 2. Adib got 6 and 2 so, total of 8. Christian got 1 so, total of 1. Vidya for topic operator 1 1 N, total of 2. Madura 4 1 so, total of 5. Kolicho, there's no for failure. Ramesh, no for failure. Tibet, no for failure. Sarina, I'm not sure yet. Siu Chi Choi, so I'm not sure yet because I didn't listen to him. Mahinder also has a timer, I'm not sure because I didn't listen to him. That's all.
Thank you. Can I suggest something? Those people who spoke and they didn't use the R counter or any of those speech structures, you can highlight them as the champions of the day. These are the people who had 0 speech crutches, then we know. Because when you go by roll, this one 0, this one 1, then they can get hidden under the people who use speech crutches. So highlight them either beginning or towards the end. Right now we move to our grammarians report. Please put your hands together for Siu Chi Choi. Let's go.
Hello, Toastmaster, good afternoon. I'm pleased to announce the report for pleased to announce the grammarian report for our meeting today. Word a day independent was used by Chloe Chong once, Adib once. Good usage of English by so far, so diverse, so many things to learn and improve on. Kishan blown away, a beautiful parrot, essentially a carnival. A formation by the Air Force. Jenny's patriotic costumes, good experience, exposure. Richmond showing our togetherness, camaraderie. Feeling is fantastic. Michael explore the world, see Malaysia from outside. Plant our roots here. Richmond, Malaysia is a brand. Spotlight your brand. Nurture your grass and focus and bring Malaysia to greater height of achievement. Matura, at the end of the day, we are one. Richmond life back then was harmonious. Matura football us closer. Jenny's unique needs of hard and soft skills. Richmond social skills, verbal and non-verbal skills. Michael EQ emotional quality, shape a person to be more humane to others. Richmond go back to the roots, learn, unlearn, and relearn. Matura unity in us, keeping our talents in Malaysia, diverse culture. Michael getting the best of everything. Richmond progressing and regressing simultaneously, burnout of proportion, Robina, nostalgic, Risman, act but not react. That's all, thank you.
Also, the remaining term was very positive. Yeah, or we all didn't do much of mistakes. So thank you so much. It feels very good. Now let's move to a timekeeper's report from Innovative Line number 1, Mahendra. Guys, applause for him also.
Today our meeting started at 12:31 p.m. So she called meeting to order and she took 2 minutes, 54 seconds. And then our president opening speech, Vidya, she took 5 minutes. And then the TMC control, Tolisha, she took 6 minutes, 30 seconds. For our table topic speakers, Sukwa, she took 2 minutes, 19 seconds. Ade, he took 1 minute, 3 seconds. And then Kishan, he took 1 minute, 38 seconds. For the project speakers, Madhura, she took 33 minutes, 37 seconds. For each Chong, she took 9 minutes, 4 seconds. And Mr. Srinivas, take over as the general evaluator, he took 10 seconds first. Then, move on to the evaluator. Table topic evaluator Nitya, she took 3 minutes, 37 seconds. First speaker evaluator Mr. Ramesh, he took 3 minutes, 46 seconds. And then the second speech evaluator, Triple, he took 2 minutes, 47 seconds. Authority report, Sabiana, she took 1 minute, 33 seconds. Preliminary report, Monsieur took 2 minutes, 12 seconds. And my one took 1 minute, 26 seconds. Thank you.
Alright, that's my 5 minutes now. This is 5 minutes. Yeah. Alright, it is very interesting meeting, especially when the room name is curiosity. Then you're walking with curiosity that what's going to happen today. Where a Chinese guy dressed like Indian clothes. So me, coming from India, I've never worn like that yet. So that's salute for you, especially with the long boots. And the last minute, so yes, impressed with that part of it. Other than that, the room is full and a lot of cheerful and supportive people throughout the sessions. It is good because in a meeting, in a hectic day, you have a lunch meeting and it's interesting, not a boring board meeting or a training kind of thing. I think that is very important. And one of the things I like how the role players were taking part and doing their role diligently. Now, do you know who's the most important role player for the meeting?
General evaluator.
It's the master of the day. Can I have a applause for her? Why I say? Because in a meeting, each of us will do one part. Toastmaster of the day connects all the parts. It's the link between the link and the transition between every role, every session, and making sure that things smoothly go. There are things which Toastmaster of the day does before the meetings and during the meetings. I'm not sure after the meeting, that depends. At the same time, what I like is that Chloe did a pretty decent job in her role as a Toastmaster. It is just that I will have one suggestion for you. When you introduce different speakers, which was very well done. At the same time, if I can suggest for the next level would be where I could see you doing with no paper in your hand. That would be nice, right? Because when you have no sheets in your hand and you're not holding, you're not obligated, your hands move, and you're a very general, natural speaker. Because Toastmaster of the day gets to speak most of it throughout the meeting. If you really calculate, he or she speaks more than anybody else in the time meeting. Of course, for panel, even for panel session, it was 30 over minutes. Individually, you all spoke less than her. So then it's like that, and you get used to using without the scripts. It makes you confident, it makes you a more pleasant speaker, and you can use the gestures much more effectively. Other than that, I was thinking that it would be a very good thing where people make the meeting more interesting, like today's meeting, and that is something we give credit to the Master of the Day and the team behind it. So one more round of applause for her. Coming to different roles, again, I want to thank you the panelists for being here. I have not seen you ever except Somebody? Other than that, thank you so much for being here to making this meeting more interesting, sharing and lighting the whole session, and Masraf for running it, something which not you get to see very often. I loved the whole thing. The color pictures outside, only one color missing. Looks like the flag kind of thing. I almost wanted to say, if there was a green, that's the Indian flag. You got orange, you got white, and all you need is a green. That would be like Indian flag. Other than that, it was very interesting table topics. I don't remember a time where I saw that the questions were kind of from a video. Like you show a video, it's like a musical video, and then you're asked a question. I think that was good. It takes a lot of time and effort. To do the 10 seconds, it takes a lot more time to prepare. For that preparation and for the backup preparation, you should be a round of applause for the table topics. It would have been much more easier give them 3 flags and the questions are behind it. That's the most simplest thing to do. But to do a video and have backup questions and then based on that. And I'm so glad I'm not the third speaker. You said 31st August or 1000 smart. I'm like, I've never heard of any of those. I have no idea. The singer, I have no idea. I got no clue anything at all. But I'm glad you got the right person for that. So that is well done in that part. Overall, regarding the evaluators and other technical roadblocks, I think you all did, one of the things most of you all did, but you were very much on time, which is appreciated, much appreciated during a lunch meeting, especially during a lunch meeting where you're very close to the time. So now it's about 4th minute, so I should end my evaluation session by saying thank you so much for inviting me, and wonderful meeting, enlightening, inspiring, and make it better.
Thanks for the general evaluator. This is the awards time. Now let's us invite President to give an appreciation gift for the general evaluator.
It's okay, I need to lose weight.
Sorry, please don't talk the banner.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. She's very mindful of
Thank you, General President. Now comes the table topic speaker. Who is the winner? Drum please.
Kisha!
all because of your BS.
Not to forget, we have our Best Dress Award for band. Drum roll, please.
Kisha!
And drum roll for the woman best dress.
Torisha!
To save the time, I would like to invite all the guests, please come out to receive a magazine, Toastmaster magazine. The first will be Logini, Tiraga, and JP, right? We have a gift for you. Yeah. Oh, Jenny?
Which one come? Jenny, I think. Take picture.
You all can stand over here.
Michael is a Toastmaster member.
Can stand over here.
You see on the chair?
Can. Okay.
Can you show the magazine? Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Alright. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Today, I would like to thank for the 3 panelists today, Michael, Rizwan, and Janice.
Wow. Thank you for having me.
You can stand together.
Cannot block the hand. Trying to show the top.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Wait, what is it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more here. 1, Crystal. 2, 3. Wow. Thank you.
Is there any announcement that club would like to make? Announcement?
The OC here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sri from Toastmasters Club. I am doing a special DGM project, which will be 26 hours non-stop Toastmasters meeting. Which will be starting on 23rd of November, 9 a.m. and it will end on 24th of November, 9 p.m. Saturday and Sunday at Glen Mary. There's a mall called Marketplace Metropolis. It's a banquet hall sponsored. It can fit about 300 people. So we are planning to invite Toastmasters from throughout Malaysia and international and worldwide to join the meeting online and offline. So those who are based in Glen Mary, I would appreciate if you could join. I don't expect you to join 36 hours, though you are more than welcome to be there. At the same time, you can choose because 36 hours means 18 meetings with different teams, different group of people, with different setup, different criteria and all. You can decide to choose 1 meeting, 2 meetings, or decide as long you want to stay. I will send the link to your president and your VPE, and then you can register. You can come as a club, you can come at different slots. Thank you.
Please save the date on 3rd of October is our IJM Toastmaster Club, which as you see, Jasmine is the organizer chair. You can volunteer yourself, be a contestant or role player. So my Toastmaster of the day job ends here. Now pass back to President.
Thank you, Chloe. As our GE said, she did a very wonderful job today. She made our meeting to be cheerful as she is throughout the meeting. We have discussed many good things today, even about the sharing, about the nations. It shows that how the patriotism in our heart was like easily expressed today, which we don't usually say it out loudly to anyone nowadays. Only when there is a certain places to share, we share. But I could see the unity in all of us, which is hiding in our little heart. We can express it in our daily life. And thank you to all the panelists here who shared about their personal experience. And they also shared a very good input about how the future is going to be and what's their thoughts about their kids and the generation who's going forward. And I would also like to thank all the GAP members. I don't know what is GAP is, but then all of you from GAP. So thank you for graduate associate program. Thank you for all of you come here and being so brave to come in front. I know it wasn't that easy, but thank you so much. And thank you to our table topic master, Rovina, who come out with a lot of enthusiasm to conduct this meeting with different ways, which I really didn't expect that. Thank you so much. It shows that how my members are so enthusiastic to conduct this meeting. To be honest, like yesterday, Chloe come to me and say that let's do a traditional costume competition tomorrow. So we immediately sent to the WhatsApp group, and it worked out. We are very happy that some of us could really follow that. So that's what we expect from Toastmaster, that the enthusiasm to speak and give your opinion. With that, I would like to ask all the guests for their feedback for being here today. It's very much valuable. Can I start with Dennis?
I'm very pleased that Toastmaster invited me to be one of the panelists here. From here, I can see things that we carry out, meetings we carry out in a positive manner. We have the time viewer, we have the G, we have the council, sorry. And people here are friendly, approachable.
Do come for a meeting up.
I should see. If I have time, I will come home.
So, pleasure to have you here.
Sign up as a member.
Sharon, your feedback?
Regular.
Hubert, you have anything? Can we have from the newbies? Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you feel about the meeting today.
So you.
Just 1, 2 words. That's fine.
So one.
Hi, thanks for being here. It's a big chance for me that actually how the Toastmaster going on, meeting all those, and thanks for all the panels and all the speakers that share their experience today. And I think I have a good day for being here. And thank you. That's all.
Thank you all.
This is your view about the meeting. You don't ask me all kind of question, okay? But see the way they throw me.
For this meeting, I never heard about this Toastmaster thing. Oh, seems like the first time I heard about this was like last week. Toastmasters is happening. I had no idea what was Toastmasters. So and I got to know what's Toastmasters thanks to Mr. Ramesh and Mr. Sugu. So Jay brought us here. So I think it's a good platform for us to improve our spoken English, for others to evaluate us, and for ourselves to evaluate us as well.
Thank you, sir. Anyone?
Hi everyone. So today is also my first time. So, I also just knew about this Toastmasters program and how the flow of the program is, and it's nice to see how different people give speeches and how they improve their English through comments from the panels. So I think I will join this club.
Michael, please.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. We're also happy to have you here.
First of all, I want to apologize to my people because when he touched the green button and he looked so respected when I end my speeches just now. I want to say more, but because like my dad always say, if you want to outplay your make sure you got it with your pants down. Just now, more than pants down.
Oh, wow. Should I give an easier topic? Like different song.
All this is recorded very quick. Okay, I heard about Toastmaster during my degree year, but when I was there to join the club, the PIC there ignored me just because he was talking to the foreigner. Because the foreigner comes in, first he asked about the Toastmaster thingy. I also there want to ask the same thing, he just ignored me, so I don't know. Sorry.
PIC here is very good.
Bishra.
So thank you for your valuable feedback. Rizwan, you have been to a meeting a few times before.
Yeah. Always good.
So you can be part of the club, then?
I have friends.
And also we have two pretty ladies aside. We have Nogini to give your feedback.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I would like to give a suggestion that she says that this will end at 12 p.m. and it's almost 2:30 already. So next time try to improve in timing and it's quite cold here. Bear with it. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll do more control next time. Just say how you feel about it.
What do you like, what you don't like? Say about.
We are very open.
In fact, we are always more interested in hearing what you don't like.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
This is second time attending this Toastmaster. Yeah, first I attended the Ramesh before. Many years. Okay, so far it's so good. I will try to come more in future. That's something different.
Thank you all for your valuable feedback. It was great having you all here. So I will officially end this meeting. And before we move out, can we have a group photo?